With me, the guest Suzi Okpere. Good day to you.
Hi, Kale. Good day.
Okay, she's the HR manager of Beulah Marine Limited. It's an oil servicing company, and she's also the founder of the Volunteer Engagement Network, which is an NGO that specializes in recruitment and volunteer engagement.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
I got that right. Thank God. All right, so today on the show, we're going to talk about getting a job promotion, why it is important, how to get a job promotion, and what to do if you don't get that job promotion you feel you deserve. I feel everyone knows what a job promotion is, but just in case, I have a definition here I should refer to. They say it's the advancement of an employee within a company, position, or job tasks. A job promotion may be the result of an employee's proactive pursuit of a higher ranking or as a reward by employers for good.
Increase in your pay grade and not necessarily your position.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good to know. So the thing is, I think a lot of us just want to get a job. We have a dream job and we want to have a good enough paycheck. But when you're seeking employment, is this something you should have on the back of your mind that I would need a promotion at some point?
Yes, definitely, because everyone has in mind a career path or like a 5-year long-term goal of where they want to be in a couple of years' time. So when you're looking for a job, it's very important that's one of the key things you should look out. In fact, I always tell people to ask that in an interview. What are your performance management system? Do you have a well-charted career path, or in 5 years' time, what is it? How do you go about your promotions and all that? It's a very valid question that everyone should ask during job interviews.
Wow. Okay, you mentioned in 5 years' time. Is that like a standard?
No, not necessarily, but we use that like a stopgap for you to measure your long-term goals, like 5 years, 10 years,
Okay.
Intermittently. But usually some organizations, like in the civil service, they usually have like a 2 or 3 year, promotional time frame. That doesn't mean that you must be promoted in 2 or 3 years, even if you don't deserve it. But that's like a benchmark or goal to say in 3 years' time we expect that you would have acquired enough skills, you should have developed leadership capabilities to move you to the next level. But most organizations would actually, at maybe 6 months or 1 year mark, depending on their performance management system, they would actually call the employee to the table and say, okay, have you been able to meet the milestones or the key result areas that we set for you? They take a look at it, and actually a good organization should have a clearly mapped out career plan for each employee. We should have a well set out goal, and to say, okay, every 6 months when we talk to this employee, is he improving? Have you acquired the skills required for you to acquire in 6 months? If not, what should we do? Do we need to rotate the employee? Do we need to send him on training? Things like that.
Wow. Okay. So we're still talking about job promotions, why it is important, how to get a job promotion. It's still Next Level Radio. We need to go for a break. Stick around. Still Next Level Radio, and we're still looking at how to get a job promotion, why it is so important. And I want to share with you my experience working with people who I guess were due for a promotion at some point in a certain company. I noticed that some of the employees who had been working with that company for a while were ashamed to tell other people how long they had been with the company, because they had been in the same position for many years, and they wouldn't want to say, oh, I've been here for up to 7 to 8 years. And it never dawned on me that they would feel embarrassed because they haven't moved forward within the company, even though they had some degree of clout and status because of how long they had stayed there. So I was starting to get a sense of why, wow, you need to be moving up that ladder within that organization over time. And some of them obviously lacked the motivation to be working because it was the same thing every single day for years. So back to that interview process. If you're trying to get a job with a company and they don't give you any signs or signal that they might promote you over time, what do you do? Do you just say, oh well, I'm not interested, take your job and stick it?
Well, that's one way to look at it, because it's very important. Promotion, it's in human resources, is a reward system. It's one of the various reward systems we have, and it's one of the key reward systems. So if an organization tells you we don't do promotions here. The job, most organizations won't tell you that, obviously, and they will probably say, we'll give you a target, and if you're able to meet up to that, it's most likely that, we'll review your performance at a certain time. But what I advise people is, you should be a problem solver. When you get into an organization and you find out that there's a gap, for example, they don't have a proper performance management system, you can prefer a solution. You can draft something, and present it to management, pro bono. That's actually displaying innovation and creativity, so you can actually suggest it, come up with something. You can do some research, consult with people who are properly experienced in that field, and propose it to the management and say, look, I think we should actually be considering enforcing or implementing something like this, because it's actually a form of motivation to people. Everyone wants to be appreciated. Everyone wants to be rewarded for the work they have done. And you find out that when you put a performance management system, or there's an incentive or promotion, it's a reward system. It's something people can work towards. You find out that it tends to motivate them more. So it's actually, I would advise that kind of person to, even at the point of interview, if they say they don't have something like that in place, you can suggest it to them and say, okay, how about if I come up with something for you, like a performance management system? And they say, oh, what's that about? And then you can explain to them, or you say, okay, let me do some research and then I'll get back to you. So that's one way to look at it.
So why would a company not even have that performance management system in place?
Yeah, because some organizations, like one-man businesses, maybe they didn't set proper policies and procedures in place when they were set up. And some organizations, it's all about making the profits. They're really not concerned about the development of the staff. But what people or organizations don't realize, that the human resources aspect of an organization is the key area. If people are not satisfied, if they are not motivated, they would not produce results. And of course, that will eventually affect the bottom line, which is the profits. So it's very important that every organization, no matter how small, I always advise people, when you're setting up an organization, you should think about things like this and put them in place from the beginning, such that even when the organization grows, there's already a foundation in place for performance management. There should be a reward system. You should have a vision on how your organization is going to be from when it's 5 to when it's going to be 50 or 500, so it just expands. It doesn't really change what it is. So it's very important that every organization should have one.
Yeah, and if they're not promoting their staff who deserve to be promoted, they stand to lose those people. There's a possibility that they'll get a job elsewhere.
Yes, exactly, because most times is what we call the brain drain or talent drain in human resources. No matter when an employee has worked in a certain role for a number of years, they've acquired some skills, they've acquired some job specialization, and if that person takes all that competence and moves on to the next, you start afresh to train someone all over again. No matter how much theoretical knowledge that person has, the person is going to take some time to build the competence on the role. So it's very important that employers think about that. You don't want to lose a good employee because you don't have a proper reward or performance management system in place.
Yeah. All right, still Next Level Radio, and we'll open the phone line soon enough. But on our Facebook page, there is a post we've left for you to respond to. We asked that you think you can work and be fulfilled without getting promoted, and what is the best way to get a job promotion? When I ask that question, off the top of my head, I think of some unethical things that people may want to do.
Like?
Well, I don't know. I can't say some of them, but okay. Then what people usually think is the person who is seeking a job promotion actively is the sort of person that will do what they call eye service.
Yeah,
eye service.
Politics,
exactly. Company politics. So let's get right into it. What do I need to do to get a job promotion?
Well, to be honest, politics is actually, it's one of the ways you can
wow, okay.
But it's not the key way, but it actually is one of the way you can actually get a job promotion, but it's not the only way. And what I always tell people, politics independently will not get you a job promotion. No boss or manager or MD is going to promote someone just because they're doing eye service or they come to greet them every morning or they play golf with them. No, because like I said, organizations are all about profit making, so they want people who are going to move them forward. So the key ways to get a promotion is, number one, you need to acquire new knowledge and skills. You cannot say, oh, because I came into this organization 2-3 years ago with a certain degree, and that's not enough. Every day the world is changing and evolving, and there are new technologies in various aspects. You should be updated. You should be up to date on the latest trends in your field or your career. So it's very important that you research, you self-develop, you improve your knowledge and skills sets. You also need to build your network. Whatever career path you're in, it's important that you have a network, not just within the organization, but also outside. Why is that important? That exposes you to the best practices in other organizations. When you interact with people, for example, in human resources that work in other organizations aside from yours, you learn about the things they do, and then you can implement it in your organization as well. It's also important to get a promotion that you take on more responsibilities, because when you come in, for example, as a graduate trainee in an organization, the amount of expectation or responsibility given to you is minimal. But in 3 years' time, they expect that you should be able to take on more, because from a graduate trainee, they're preparing you for a leadership role, so you should be able to, when preparing to get promoted, you should ask for more responsibility actively. You shouldn't just wait for your boss to suggest it. You should go and ask for more responsibilities.
Wow. We actually had a program it was on Wednesday. We asked the question that, do you think it's advisable to go and ask for more responsibilities at work? And most people said no. I mean, they haven't increased my pay. Why should I ask for more responsibilities? So yeah, and I actually read about this. If you want to get a job promotion, you should ask for more responsibilities. And it's really sad that sometimes your employer may ask you to do something more than, want to give you more responsibilities, and then you may make the blunder of turning down that opportunity.
That's not a very good sign. Although I always advise people, like, one of the ways also to get a promotion is you should ask for more responsibilities, but you shouldn't take on more than you can deliver.
All right.
You should take enough responsibility that you can deliver, because it's very important that you deliver 100% on whatever you're given. Nobody wants someone who under delivers. So it's important that you ask for more responsibility within what you can deliver. So that's one of them. And also, you need to record and quantify your results when you do things. When you take on more responsibilities, you need to take note of it. Some people do a lot of additional work aside from what they're giving them at work, but they don't record these deliverables, so it tends to get lost in transit. So when it's time to have your performance appraisal, you find out that they don't have a track record on what they have done for the past 6 months or 1 year. Every time you take on an additional task or you do something, you should have a diary or a notepad where you write it down. You're able to clearly enumerate on what you have done, your key deliverables, your key achievements, and all that. It's also important to develop a mentoring relationship with both your superiors and your subordinates. Now, the reason it's important to develop a mentoring relationship with your superiors is because a lot of people think they know what their boss wants from them, but sometimes the expectations of leaders are kind of different from what people think it is. So when you develop a mentoring relationship, your boss can tell you something like, okay, I think you're delivering on your job, but I think it's important you need to work on your maybe your relationship with people. You're kind of lacking in that area, or maybe your team spirit, and things like that. So when you develop a mentoring relationship with your boss, you tend to get a better holistic picture on what he's thinking and what he wants. So therefore, you can walk in line with that.
So that sort of relationship would involve you proactively trying to meet with your boss? Is it something that you tell your boss, you're trying to do this, if you want to build that kind of relationship?
Yes, some organizations actually have well-structured mentoring programs. They have a well-structured, as organizations that properly, they have properly structured, they have a well-structured mentoring program. But if they do not, you can actually walk up to your boss and say, look, I look up to you. I think you're someone who has the necessary skills, or you're like a picture of where I want to be in a couple of years. Would you mind being my mentor? And then you can actually book meetings, maybe once a month, where you can sit down and talk to him about your career. You can talk to him about what you want to do next, and you can actively ask him, where do you think I'm lacking, or how do you think I can improve on what I'm doing?
Some of us are so wary of our employers because we don't want to be seen as the person who is doing the so-called eye service. So this sort of thing is the right thing to do. It's all about being professional. It's done in a professional manner, and you don't have to worry about coming off as someone who's trying to lick his boots or her boots.
Yeah, when you're asking for a mentoring relationship, it's important to actually be careful, because just like you're weary of coming off as being a politicking employee, a lot of bosses also are very wary of, those kind of kiss ass suck up employees who are also, they don't want those kind of relationships. So it's important that you're professional when you have a mentoring relationship. Always go with a notebook, or have clearly mapped out questions on what you want to achieve from that meeting. Every time you meet your boss, you should have a goal and say, okay, I want to talk to him about 3 things. You can send an email ahead of time and say, okay, ahead of our meeting, these are the things I would want to discuss with you, so he prepares mentally for it. If he needs to research on it before you come there, he's prepared, for the meeting. So therefore he knows that you're not just coming to talk about the family and the children, but you're coming to focus on your career and talk about where you want to be.
Awesome. I'm learning so much. Still Next Level Radio. We need to go for a break. Don't go. It's Next Level Radio. And we're still talking about getting a job promotion, and we've talked about how to get a job promotion. Now we're going to look at why some people don't get promoted.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say that not everyone should get promoted, because, like I said, a promotion is actually a reward system. So the question you should ask yourself if you're not getting promoted is, do I deserve to get promoted? Have I actually met my key deliverables? Have I improved myself? So it shouldn't be a sense of entitlement to say, because I work in this organization, therefore I should get promoted. No, you should actually assess yourself to know if you actually deserve a promotion. So first of all, number one reason why people don't get promoted is because they take on too much responsibilities, more than they can deliver, and then they under-deliver. So it's better you take on as much as you can deliver and deliver 100% than to take on much more and deliver 40 or 50% on everything. It's important that you deliver on what you're given, so people know that you're actually a performer. And then another reason people don't get promoted is that they neglect their goals and targets. Some people get carried away and they're like, they think the other department is more juicy, the kind of work they do, or the entitlements are better, and then they neglect their job description, their key goals and targets, their key result areas, and they go and concentrate on taking additional work from the department they feel they want to move to, or from the department they feel that rewards people better. It's one way you're not going to get, because in the performance management system, the first thing you're going to be assessed on is if you were able to deliver on your set key deliverables before they now assess how well you did in taking on additional tasks. And then another reason people don't get promoted is because they believe that promotions are based on relationship. Like I said, they think it's all about politics. So therefore they neglect the job they are given to do, and they go around, talking to the bosses, visiting them. Some of them go as much as buying lunch for the bosses and taking them out to dinner, so that's one way definitely not to get promoted. And also, like I said before, if you work in an organization that does not have a well-structured performance management system, there's no way how are they going to promote you, on what basis are they going to assess your performance, because there's no reward system in place. So they just expect that you keep working. So therefore, there's no clearly mapped out career path. So therefore you can't get a promotion in that kind of organization. And then also, when you don't improve on your skills and competences, some people complain, oh, there was an opening in a higher role, I wasn't promoted, and the company recruited someone from outside. That's probably because they saw the skills gap. You didn't have the required skills to fill into the next role, so therefore they had to source it. You had to recruit someone to fit into that role. So it's, if you don't improve on your skills, if you don't get new skills, even if the organization is not sending you on trainings, which they should, but probably because of the economy and things happening, there are a lot of free websites you can get free trainings on. You could also volunteer with organizations and gain some competences in those areas where you feel you have a gap. So that's the fact that the organization is not sending you on trainings is not an excuse. There's so much you can do for yourself to improve your skills and competences. And then also, when you're not a team player, a lot of people feel working independently, they want to do all the work by themselves. They can't work as a team. There's no way you can deliver all by yourself. You need to work with people. And then people skills is a very required competence, especially for a leadership position. So it's one thing human resource professionals look out for. How well were you able to work with other people? How well were you able to deliver through people? So it's very important that you're a team player and you have relationship skills. Also, when you're not professional, a lot of people are not professional in the way they go about their work. Therefore, you're not able to be considered for the next role because you're probably not displaying the maturity or the leadership skills for the next level. So these are some reasons why people do not get promoted.
So yeah, back to what it's like when you're working with a company that doesn't have that performance management system. Earlier on, you said you could suggest
yes.
that they introduce such a thing. But if they're stuck in their ways, what do you do when you're with such a company?
Well, if you're with an organization like that is stuck in its ways, I always tell people, people always complain about difficult bosses, but if you work in an organization like that, the bottom line, like I said, is most organizations is all about minimizing loss and increasing profits. That's why they're in business. That's why they're open. So when you're suggesting a performance management system, what they want to know is, how is this going to help us increase profits? How is this going to, generate more income for the organization? So you should be able to sell your idea in such a way, if possible, you can do some graphics. In human resources, we call it HR analytics. You should be able to do projections, provide figures to say, okay, if we have a performance management system in place, we're able to reward people. This is what we anticipate. In the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, we anticipate that people are going to be so motivated, they'll be able to deliver from 20% to 100%. We anticipate that the profit is going to grow from this to this. I can't imagine what MD or director you're going to present such a proposal to that would say no to it, especially if this is coming from you as a pro bono suggestion. You're planning to implement this for the organization, and so you find that if you're able to do this and sell the idea to the organization, of course, if there's an opening in leadership, you've already demonstrated creativity and innovation, so it's most likely they're going to bump you up to the next role.
Love it. All right, phone lines are open, 084-460-959, then there's 080-9597-5778. You can call 081-6160-5450. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 080-903-06415. Then, of course, it's up on our Facebook page. We asked the question, do you think you can work and be fulfilled without getting promoted? And what is the best way to get a job promotion? Is still Next Level Radio. We need to go for a break. All right, still your Next Level Radio. In the studio I have Suzi Okpere. We've been talking about getting a job promotion. And finally, it's time to talk about what to do if you've done all those things she recommended and you still don't get that promotion. What next?
Well, at that point, you need to sit down and then reassess, why is it you came to work for the organizations. Like I said, a lot of people have different goal sets. Some people are working just to earn money. Some people are working to get recognized for what they do. Some people don't mind working and they're not promoted for 10 years as long as they have a steady source of income. So you need to sit down and then ask yourself questions again. Why did I come to work in this organization? What are my 5-year goals? What are my 10-year goals? Will I be happy if I'm still working here for the next 10 years and I'm not promoted? And then if you sit down and you ask yourself these questions and you find that you're not fulfilled working in a role that's not, improving you, increasing you to the next, moving you to the next level in terms of your job, by all means, you should actually resign or, have a discussion first of all with the management and say, look, I don't think I can continue on this role for these reasons. Of course, this should happen after you have made a suggestion about the performance management system, proposed it to them. If it's rejected, this should happen after you've improved your skill sets, you've done all the right things you should do to get a promotion, and it's still not, coming to you. Then I always advise people, don't get out of a job before you get another job. So you can start the process of applying for other jobs while you are still on that role. You should start actively looking for another job. And of course, at this point, you are better informed, so you should ask the right questions at the point of interview to make sure the next organization you're going to has a proper career path, a performance management system, and a reward system in place before you take the job.
All right. So we've been having trouble with the phone lines, but I saw the line blinking. You can still try 084-460-959, then there's 08095975778. And Suzi Okpere is the founder of Volunteer Engagement Network, which is an NGO. Tell us about the Volunteer Engagement Network.
Yeah, Volunteer Engagement Network is an NGO that specializes in recruitment and engagement of volunteer roles. Basically, what we do is we help people who are looking for jobs or in between jobs to gain the required competences by engaging them in volunteer roles or internship positions that will give them an opportunity to increase their skill sets and gain the relevant competences. We usually have volunteer roles that run for sometimes a month, 3 months, and 6 months. So in this situation now, if you're someone who is in a position where you're not getting promoted and you actually want to volunteer to cover up some skills gap or to gain some competence that you feel your organization requires but is not giving you the opportunity to actually get, you can actually sign up with Volunteer Engagement Network, and we can help you, cover up that skill gap by giving you the opportunity to gain this competence in a volunteer role. Of course, we're not saying you're going to leave your job. You can do this, remotely. We have jobs we can do remotely. We can send to you and you can send back to the organization. You can also do some jobs over the weekend or in your free time during your leave or something. So that's what Volunteer Engagement Network does.
All right. And I recall you had an event not so long ago.
Yes, we had an event in December. It was the International Volunteer Day.
Yeah.
And we had some speakers come and talk about various aspects. And we have a few more events coming up. So I would like to encourage you to go to our website. It's www.venetwork.org. And also you can follow us on Facebook. We're at Volunteer Engagement Network on Facebook. It's important that you follow us on all our social media platforms so you can keep informed of the upcoming programs. We do a lot of career building. Next program coming up is actually going to be on CV writing. We have a CV writing masterclass coming up, so you should look out for that.
All right. So I was going to wrap this up by saying if one were to keep in touch with you, what was the best way to do that? But I guess you just pretty much covered that.
Yeah, I just said the website, but I'll go over it again. Right. And then I'll give a phone number. It's www.venetwork.org, and our Facebook page is at Volunteer Engagement Network. We're also on Twitter at VE_network. and you can call us on 080-888-88. That's 8 in 5 places and 966.
All right. Thank you so much, and I hope that this is not the last time we're going to have you on Next Level Radio.
Of course not.
Awesome. Thank you for stopping by for this one.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, the Midday Oasis continues. The Popcorn Hour show is about to begin. Let's do some music. Bruno Mars, take it away.
Hey, Princess Michelle.
All right, still your Next Level Radio. In the studio, I have Suzi Okpere. We've been talking about getting a job promotion. And finally, it's time to talk about what to do if you've done all those things she recommended and you still don't get that promotion. What next?
Well, at that point, you need to sit down and then reassess, why is it you came to work for the organizations. Like I said, a lot of people have different goal sets. Some people are working just to earn money. Some people are working to get recognized for what they do. Some people don't mind working and they're not promoted for 10 years as long as they have a steady source of income. So you need to sit down and then ask yourself questions again. Why did I come to work in this organization? What are my 5-year goals? What are my 10-year goals? Will I be happy if I'm still working here for the next 10 years and I'm not promoted? And then if you sit down and you ask yourself these questions and you find that you're not fulfilled working in a role that's not, improving you, increasing you to the next, moving you to the next level in terms of your job, by all means you should actually resign or have a discussion first of all with the management and say, look, I don't think I can continue on this role for these reasons. Of course, this should happen after you have made a suggestion about the performance management system, proposed it to them. If it's rejected, this should happen after you've improved your skill sets, you've done all the right things you should do to get a promotion, and it's still not, coming to you. Then I always advise people, don't get out of a job before you get another job. So you can start the process of applying for other jobs while you are still on that role. You should start actively looking for another job. And of course, at this point, you are better informed, so you should ask the right questions at the point of interview to make sure the next organization you're going to has a proper career path, a performance management system, and a reward system in place before you take the job.
All right. So we've been having trouble with the phone lines, but I saw the line blinking. You can still try 084-460-959, then there's 080-95-975778. And Suzi Okpere is the founder of Volunteer Engagement Network, which is an NGO. Tell us about the Volunteer Engagement Network.
Yeah, Volunteer Engagement Network is an NGO that specializes in recruitment and engagement of volunteer roles. Basically, what we do is we help people who are looking for jobs or in between jobs to gain the required competences by engaging them in volunteer roles or internship positions that will give them an opportunity to increase their skill sets and gain the relevant competences. We usually have volunteer roles that run for sometimes a month, 3 months, and 6 months. So in this situation now, if you're someone who is in a position where you're not getting promoted and you actually want to volunteer to cover up some skills gap or to gain some competence that you feel your organization requires but is not giving you the opportunity to actually get, you can actually sign up with Volunteer Engagement Network, and we can help you, cover up that skill gap by giving you the opportunity to gain this competence in a volunteer role. Of course, we're not saying you're going to leave your job. You can do this, remotely. We have jobs we can do remotely, we can send to you and you can send back to the organization. You can also do some jobs over the weekend or in your free time during your leave or something. So that's what Volunteer Engagement Network does.
All right. And I recall you had an event not so long ago.
Yes, we had an event in December. It was the International Volunteer Day.
Yeah.
And we had some speakers come and talk about various aspects. And we have a few more events coming up. So I would like to encourage you to go to our website. It's www.venetwork.org, And also you can follow us on Facebook. We're at Volunteer Engagement Network on Facebook. It's important that you follow us on all our social media platforms so you can keep informed of the upcoming programs. We do a lot of career building. Next program coming up is actually going to be on CV writing. We have a CV writing masterclass coming up, so you should look out for that.
All right. So I was going to wrap this up by saying if one were to keep in touch with you, what was the best way to do that? But I guess you just pretty much covered that.
Yeah, I just said the website, but I'll go over it again. And then I'll give a phone number. It's www.venetwork.org, and our Facebook page is at Volunteer Engagement Network. We're also on Twitter at VE_network. And you can call us on 080-888-88, that's 8 in 5 places, and 966.
All right. Thank you so much. And I hope that this is not the last time we're going to have you on Next Level Radio.
Of course not.
Awesome. Thank you for stopping by for this one.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, the Midday Oasis continues. The Popcorn Hour show is about to begin. Let's do some music. Bruno Mars, take it away.
Hey, hey.